Hello and welcome to 90 Years Strong, the Monroe College story, where we dive into the rich tapestry of the Monroe College legacy. Join us as we uncover the inspiring journeys, remarkable achievements, and transformative experiences of students, faculty, and alumni across the decades. From the challenges faced to the triumphs celebrated, each episode will paint a vivid picture of resilience, growth, and the unwavering spirit that has made Monroe College an educational powerhouse. This podcast embodies the spirit of being 90 years strong in academic excellence. So get ready to be inspired, educated, and motivated.
Hello, my name is Ferguson, the Executive Director of the Monroe Foundation, and welcome back to another episode of 90 Years Strong, the Monroe College story. Today, we will focus on Stephen Jerome's presidency and the new Rochelle campus. Today, I have as my guest, Miss Della Regina, who is an alum of Monroe College, and Miss Leslie Jerome, who is the Director of Alumni Relations. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. It's wonderful to be here.
And I am so thrilled to welcome one of our first students who came to what was then the Monroe Business Institute. We actually were not a college yet, but we came to New Rochelle as the Monroe Business Institute, and we were welcomed by about 500 students in the first years, and Della Regina was one of our first students, and she really saw the change in New Rochelle.
Della, can you share your first impression of Monroe College's New Rochelle campus when it opened in the 1980s?
Yes, I grew up in New Rochelle, and I actually was a cosmetologist cutting hair right up the street at the time, so I would pass. It was at the time Monroe Business Institute, a 2-year business institute, but you would get your associate's degree. And I said, as I walked past, they were always very friendly and engaging. So I said, oh, maybe I could take business classes and open my own salon one day. But it took me to a whole nother journey.
I would like to ask Mrs. Jerome to tell us a little bit more about what the campus looked like at that time. So what was the New Rochelle like, Mrs. Jerome, in the 1980s that actually encouraged the Monroe College to open up a campus here?
New Rochelle was a suburban town, a very busy town. It was probably about 30 minutes from the Bronx, where our original campus was. And New Rochelle's Main Street was the main part of town. Across from us, and probably Della will remember, we had a Macy's department store and a Macy's mall. In that mall at the time, we had an indoor ice skating rink. Della may have gone to it. We had all kinds of stores. It was a very bustling town. And the reason that we were here is because we were very worried about what was happening in the Bronx during the late 70s and the 80s. That was not the best time for the Bronx. And we had a lot of fires and a lot of things going on. And President Jerome and the staff were very worried that we needed to have a campus that was away from the busier city, and we felt New Rochelle would be the perfect place for us.
You talked about Mr. Jerome and his presidency, so we're going to touch a little bit about that. He played a pivotal role in Monroe College's history. Can you tell us more about his vision for the college during his presidency?
His vision for the college was, we must adapt to all the changes around us and always teach our students skills so that the main thing was that they will get jobs. That was always the first goal. You must always teach the kind of skills to our students so that they can go out and be able to make a living and be able to use those skills. And the way he had the vision was to constantly have us go one step further, so that we always were going for the next degree, the next accreditation, We went from a business school to Monroe College. From Monroe College, we went to a graduate school, which we have now. So it was actually Monroe Business School, Monroe School of Business. Then it was Monroe Business Institute. Then it was Monroe College. Then it became a college where we went on to offer a master's degree for our students. So his vision was always to go higher and higher for our students and graduates, and to always maintain that mission of teaching skills that will help in the current marketplace.
I'm an alum of Monroe College, a proud one, I always say. So, Della, can you share with us some of your memorable moments of being a student of Monroe College in the New Rochelle campus?
Yes, so one day walking home from work, I popped in. Like I said, everyone was always so welcoming and accommodating, professional and kind. So I felt at ease because no one in my family had gone to college. So I said, because it's 2 years and I don't like to quit, if it's not for me, I think I could do 2 years. They helped me with all paperwork and whatever I needed to, because it was all new to me. I didn't have many people to refer to ask how it was going to be. Then they enticed me by giving incentives of dean list parties. So I had to make sure I got my dinner with a friend or a boat ride. So every semester they had incentives to feed me, and I'm enticed by food. So I was always on the dean's list so I could go to the party. And that really helped because, like I said, I never thought I would go to college. And then I had a whole new idea about college. So now I changed my mind from opening a salon. Miss Jerome and her staff always encouraged me to go to Iona to get my bachelor's. They were like a partner school at the time since they were 2-year. And I said, oh my Lord, more school. I didn't think I would ever do it. I did go to Iona, and I actually changed gears and started studying elementary education. And I have been a teacher in New York City for 25 years, and I love it. And I always try to attend alumni activities, and Miss Jerome and her whole family's always been awesome. And I'm so blessed to have gotten this experience. It took me to a different place, and I always promote Monroe, and I'm so happy every time I see them grow, more and more buildings, more and more students, letting everyone know that everyone could do it, and even growing with sports teams. They never lose their motivation for everyone. Monroe is my start.
Della, you just talked about how your life came around full circle from being a student and also going into teaching. So your life came full circle in the fact that you started off and did exactly what Mr. Jerome basically wanted his students the alums to be, right? Which to get a good job, a good paying job. But Mrs. Jerome, can you tell us a little bit about the different editions of the campus and the college life and the student life that started to happen on Main Street with the college, especially as they started to get more buildings and dormitories? So can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes. What happened is New Rochelle started changing, and New Rochelle started having people moving there from all different countries. And one of the main countries was Mexico. And we had a lot of Mexican people who lived in New Rochelle who worked at the mall across the way. And one of the first things that we said, we have all these workers, why don't we have an ESL class so that we can teach them English? So we had a very successful ESL class. And then as these couple of years went by, Mark Jerome joined our campus. And Mark Jerome said, we are now dealing with more and more international people in Westchester. Let's see if we can bring in people who are so anxious to come to the United States. And let's see if we can bring in people from the Caribbean. So the Caribbean island of Jamaica was our first experiment. We decided that we will try with, I think it was 6 to 8 original Jamaican students. They came, of course, like Della said, we are really good with food. We fed them beautifully. We took them out to the diner, which they loved, and they were very happy here. And they were housed in one of the adjoining housing developments. After they came and they did well, that was the beginning of our whole international program. And with the international program, Mark Jerome had the idea, let's see if we can build a dormitory. So the next thing was the dormitory was built. Once the dormitory was built, we had to have a great place for them to eat. So we started with the original culinary program, which was at a restaurant that was located more towards the New Rochelle Mall. So one thing led to the other. And the idea of students actually living here, that also expanded our whole idea of the sports program, because we had to keep those students busy all week long. So that was the beginning of the entire sports program, where we started originally with the basketball teams. And that team meant a lot to New Rochelle. We started with the basketball team, which led to all the other teams. And of course, now we have teams representing all different sports.
And now we have so many NCAA championships that we can claim. So that's a good thing. So Della, who are some of the notable members or mentors that you had, either faculty members or mentors that helped to guide your education or that played a really significant role at your time here at the New Rochelle campus?
Mr. and Mrs. Jerome were always encouraging many of my teachers, because I also never expecting to go to college when you know you're going to have to pay for some of it. I looked at education totally different than I did when I was in high school. Now I wanted everyone to be quiet and listen because I'm paying for this class. And that helped me also focus. And I got so much out of it. The teachers were amazing. It felt like I never learned math until I got here. I don't remember, and I don't want to say the names incorrectly. And I also cut some of my teachers' hair in the process, because since I did hair, I changed my schedule at work so I could go to school, and some of the teachers would come get a haircut. So it was awesome. It was like a family. So I got so many positive things of experiences and stories. I think you would need 7 more podcasts.
That's very interesting. And I like the fact that you said that I guess you paid it forward by cutting your professor's hair. So that's a good thing. Back in a different way.
Yes.
Mrs. Jerome, what do you believe were the most significant contributions or achievements of Monroe College during Mr. Stephen Jerome's presidency?
The amazing achievements were our ability to go forward and do all of the extra work we had to do to make ourselves an accredited college, and going forward with all the different majors so that we were able to offer up to the master's program. And at this given time, we really are keeping our fingers crossed, but we have been approved for university status. So from coming from a small school of 7 students in 1933 to actually becoming a university with 7,000 or 8,000 students and having 54,000 students around the world, that to me is just an incredible achievement.
That's awesome.
And I, as the alumni director, when I see that our students are not just coming from New York or the Bronx or Brooklyn or New Rochelle, that they are now coming from Africa, and they're coming from Gambia, and they're coming from the Asian countries, and they're coming from England. We represent so many countries around the world. So to expand and be that kind of representative for people from all over the world, that means you constantly have to open yourself up to bringing in new programs and adapting to the programs you have, so that you are now expanding your office and you are now educating people all over the world. So you not only make a city impact, you now make a country impact, and you make a worldwide impact. So that, to me, we're very proud of that.
You should be. And like I said, you have blessed many people and you have been blessed back because, like I said, when I started, there were like just a couple of classrooms in this little area, and it's gotten bigger and bigger. Dormitories, culinary schools, almost a university, sports. That's all the growth during Stephen Jerome's time.
Exactly, agreed. And we're global, right? We're known globally to have campuses in St. Lucia, to have people in Jamaica knowing, oh, Monroe College, you went there. Of course, I know about Monroe College. So we're definitely global and worldwide. As an alum, Della, what does it mean to you to see Monroe College celebrating its 90th anniversary? And what do you hope to see in the future?
I hope to be at the ceremony when they become officially a university. And I have been enjoying them growing in a positive way, because I know that if I didn't start here, I don't think I would have went as far as I did, because even as they've gotten bigger, all the effort that they put, and even Miss Jerome puts in keeping us in contact, right? I graduated December of 1991, and I still try to go to some events or keep up with some of the people. I am so glad I had this positive experience, because if it was another way, I don't know if I would have continued.
And look, you come back now and you're on the podcast.
Yes.
Mrs. Jerome, what role do you play in supporting Monroe College's growth and development during your working time here? I believe I know, because I have such a good relationship with you, but tell us in your own words.
The role I play is keeping the connection between our alums and the college. The connection means that I have to always be aware of the people who have gone forward in so many different ways. Let's be honest, the Monroe College graduates, they run the city of New York. They are teachers, they are heads of schools, they are principals, they are in every hospital, they are at every doctor's office, they are at every fine restaurant you go to, they are at every hotel. To be honest about it, you really can't go anywhere. You will bump into a Monroe College graduate. So by keeping connected, I actually have my finger on the pulse of where they are and what they're doing. Of course, not with everyone, but with so many of them. My role going forward is I want them to continue to go forward in their careers. To continue to go forward, I would like to be able to offer them the ability to take all the certificate programs, all the special seminars, all the different traveling to conferences that will help them in their own professional career. So the long and the short of it is, the higher our alums go, the higher we go. And we're certainly have a lot of examples. We're on a path since 1933, so I see it as only going forward. I think that the more things change, which is A1 intelligence and all kinds of remote learning, the more we stay the same. We stay the same by staying connected and offering them programs so that we can deal with all of the challenges that are coming ahead.
Yes. And I believe you are our college mom.
I am now the grandma. And I tell our students, yes, I'm the college mom, but let's face it, I'm the college grandma.
Yes. Oh, yeah. When they have their children. Yes.
And I'm probably going to be the college great-grandma because, well, I'm not personally yet, but when they come in, they say, Mrs. Jerome, my mother went to the college. Mrs. Jerome, my grandma went to the college. And believe it or not, some of these young students, they have great-grandmas. They married very young. I have had great-grandmas who they say come to the college. So maybe, yeah, let's hope. Fingers crossed, I'm the grandma, the great-grandma of the college.
I like that.
Definitely, especially when we hit the 100th anniversary, that's definitely something you can claim. What I would like to say on a personal note, I feel what you also bring to your role is the fact that you're supportive of a lot of the graduates' initiatives outside of the college. So what they're doing in their careers and when they've been honored for different things, you're like right there front and center. You're very supportive. So it's not just within the Monroe community that you're offering your support, but even the initiatives that a lot of the alums are doing outside that has nothing to necessarily do with the college per se, that you're always supporting their goals and their initiatives of what they're doing outside of the college. And I can speak for that on a personal note. As we're coming to the close-in, what I would like to ask is, Mrs. Jerome, can you discuss the impact of Monroe College on the Rochelle community and the broader region during this particular time? So here we are now, 2024. So what do you think is the major role that Monroe College is playing within the New Rochelle community?
I'll say what I see, but then I'll have Della also, because Della has lived here for many years, and she sees the changes on Main Street, and she sees the changes in New Rochelle. The impact that we have had is we have taken a part of New Rochelle that, to be honest, was having a lot of trouble. When we moved here, you had a Macy's Mall, you had a shopping center, you had an indoor ice skating rink. Mark Jerome was one of the people who was instrumental in getting the wonderful New Rock amusement and big center built. That happens to be one of the biggest amusement centers in New York State. Our students are major patrons of all the businesses. They go to the restaurants, they buy clothes, they go shopping, they use the transportation here. We have changed the entire look of Main Street. Della, do you remember what used to be on Main Street?
Yes, and I also remember there were some stores that were like not used. I would much rather see the beautiful Monroe as they kept buying up and transforming, making a library, making the dormitories, making parking. Like it's all been on a positive note. So it's more professional looking, and it's awesome to see young people doing positive things.
We also have our students who go out and do the voluntary things. They cook a lot of food and they give it to the food kitchens. We have the group from the honors program, and they go and they clean up the streets and they do things on Earth Day. And we have volunteers who go to some of the children's groups and talk to them. So not only do we make an impact on the look of New Rochelle, and we pay taxes to the city of New Rochelle, which we are happy to pay, but we also have the actual manpower from our students to do all these initiatives and programs that help bring up the city of New Rochelle. So we're very proud of that.
Yes, definitely.
As we near the end of this particular episode with Della and Mrs. Jerome, are there any parting words that either one of you would like to say?
I would like to say thank you so much for having me, because I would like my story, like the story of many of us that have graduated and had good experiences at Monroe, to continue for other people to know. Like I said, you cannot buy the positive vibe that Mr. and Mrs. Jerome has sprinkled this college with. And we are very grateful to you both.
Thank you so much, Della. And we are so proud to have you. You have had a life journey that you cannot really invent. And the whole life journey is education changed your whole life. And to have you on, to have you have that beautiful voice, to have you have a laugh, that the laugh which I have never heard before. I love your laugh. Yes, that's it. That laugh will go down as the laugh of Monroe. It's infectious. So we love having you. So funny. I love that laugh.
I will laugh for you anytime. I'll see you at the 10-year anniversary and also many activities before that.
We will see you at the 100th. We loved having you, Della. And Anne Marie, you are one of our other star graduates. And we love that you have been with us. And now you're both part of the Monroe family. So welcome. And we love having you part of the family.
Thank you.
We had such a great time on this episode of 90 Years Strong, the Monroe Story. It's really been great to be the host and look forward to meet with you guys again in 10 more years.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through 90 Years Strong, the Monroe College story. We hope you've been inspired by the stories shared and the impact of Monroe College. Stay tuned for more captivating episodes hosted by Anne-Marie Ferguson. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. And don't forget to visit our website for more resources and opportunities to connect with fellow alumni. Until next time.